What's up, everybody? I'm Jonathan the Baptist, and today we're going to talk about North Carolina campaign ads. It's October on an even year, so you know what that means. Campaign ads are going to be constantly attacking you, invading your YouTube experience and your TV. I guess if some people watch TV, I don't really watch TV. I just watch YouTube. Anywho, um, so over here in North Carolina, I've been constantly been barraged, bombarded by these things, just like everybody else. But the two people that I've been hit with is Cheri Beasley and Ted Budd. Those are the two that are constantly in my feed. Now there's a bunch of others, but they're so like obscure that you're not really gonna watch unless you're in North Carolina. And um, I think I found the best Ted Budd ad ever, because I lean Republican. I'm a conservative Christian, so I vote whoever's closest to that. I don't really care about party, even though I do call myself a Republican. I'd vote for an independent or a Democrat who was, actually good on good things. But anyways, so I was like, let me share and let's discuss some of these campaign ads because some of them are pretty crazy. Now, there was a scandal, I guess, where Ted Budd or somebody, I don't know if it's Ted Budd exactly, and somebody put an attack ad on Cheri Beasley, and they claim because she was it's like this North Carolina Supreme Court judge or something like that. I don't know how long, but anywho, so she there was an attack ad against her that was saying like how she was like light on criminals, and I think in general she is light on criminals, but they gave like specific instances, and I learned a lot that I didn't really know about North Carolina law, and it's pretty interesting. And we have some dumb laws. I'm just gonna say that. And apparently they went through and like started reviewing a bunch of cases, trying to see if they were if they're good enough. Anyways, that's irrelevant. And so she ruled on some cases. I don't know if she really focused on some of the specific ones, and they were criticizing her the outcome of what she voted on, and but they painted it in a different light. So that all happened. I'm not really gonna go any further on that, but anyway, so we've got some ads. I hate political ads, but I have to watch them, so you do too now. I think no, we all see these ads, but nobody really talks about what they're saying. So that's kind of what I want to do. Just talk about what's going on here, and so we can see some of the politicking that's going on behind the scenes. So I don't know. Maybe you're interested. I find it interesting how people like articulate uh, their opinions and what they're fighting for. So this is Cheri Beasley's like main ad. First of all, I'm just gonna say it is extremely difficult to find anything from Cheri Beasley. Like her platform, whoever's running her campaign, like it is impossible to to find a campaign ad from her. I was lucky to find this one, but like I saw them like as ads on YouTube, but I couldn't like look it up. So I don't know what's going on with that. They need to work on that. Ted Budd is really easy. Like, boom. I went to his YouTube page. There was like 5 ads. I was like, perfect. That's what I'm looking for. Just ads to review, like to look at. Cheri Beasley, like, she had a couple ads on there that I had seen in like the YouTube ad, but like they had no sound. I was like, well, what good is this? Why is it on your YouTube if you ain't got any sound to it? I wouldn't be surprised if they were copyright struck, and so they had to take the music out. I don't know. I don't know. YouTube fighting back because of their dumb policies. All right, let's listen to this one.
We all know Washington doesn't make a lot of
That's right. It doesn't.
Most politicians expect it to change.
It's
Like
true.
Cheri Beasley. It's time for something different. For someone who calls it like they see it. That's what I did as a judge when I held dangerous offenders accountable. And in the Senate, I'll hold Washington accountable too. Because the special interests have too much power, and neither political party is getting it right.
All this is true so far. Like, I agree with that completely. Yeah, I mean, neither party's getting it right. Well, depending on what you're talking about, it is. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like some Republicans, but like, there's a lot of them out there that are just like, like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Like, come on. Uh, I don't think that there's many, if any, Democrats who are getting things right, but this ad, she's actually getting stuff right. So I'll go with that. She's trying to get some of the moderates. That's fair. It's maybe even some of the uh, Republicans in name only.
Our next senator should be focused on North Carolina. That's why I approve this message.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. I don't really care. So some interesting things. Like, she's right about. She says next senator. Well, if Ted Budd's reelected, he's still the same senator. So you can agree with that statement. I don't know. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. I thought it was just a weird statement, I think. So I don't disagree with anything in that, which is why it's the perfect campaign ad, because like, you just say generic things that everybody agrees with. You're not like saying like, here's the problem. So not a bad ad. I give it like we'll give it a good 8 out of 10. She talks about her history of like convicting dangerous criminals. That's good. I'm all for it. But there's very little of substance. I do like the idea of like our senators like caring about North Carolina. Almost sounds like a North Carolina first message. um, so when you say America first, that's too far. But North Carolina first, interesting. So I didn't catch that last time, but yeah. So yeah, not a bad ad. Not a bad ad. This guy at the end just seems kind of random, but okay. Ah. All right, let's move on. More Cheri Beasley. Okay, so I had to find a bunch of Twitter stuff, and it took forever. I will say, like, general impression. I don't know the lady, but she seems like a nice lady. I'm not. I don't like her politics, but she seems like a personable person. But we got some attack ads to go over. So, attacking Ted Budd. So let's see. Okay. This is her. She says, Ted Budd voted against job training and apprenticeship programs that prepare North Carolinians for good paying jobs that can support a family. You shouldn't have to go to college to get ahead, and I'll fight to expand these programs in the Senate. All right. Let's see what this says.
College wasn't for me, but I worked hard and have a great job thanks to my apprenticeship program. That's why I can understand Congressman Ted Budd, who votes against the job training and apprenticeship programs that give opportunities to workers like me. Cheri Beasley gets it. She knows that you shouldn't need to go to college to get ahead, and she'll fight to expand skills training programs. It comes down to who's on our side, who gets it, and that's Cheri Beasley for sure.
I love I love these.
College wasn't
Okay, that's just gonna repeat. I love these little like scenes that people do with like allegedly like the candidate like supposedly interacting in a meaningful way with the people that are in the ad. Like maybe they're just chit chatting. I don't know. Like, what is this supposed to like represent? Like that you're. I don't know. What are you doing? Like, okay, it's supposed to look like you're in action. You're among the people doing normal things, and it's like, I mean, this is staged, but every candidate does that, so I can't complain. I just laugh at it. It's weird. All right, so I don't know anything about this vote, but I do like. I think college is becoming less and less useful just because of how bad colleges have gotten. Like they seem to care more about their religion than they do about like teaching the fundamentals of life. And so it's like, what's the point? And then you have like the whole fact that all these government loans and all this other stuff that really has just inflated the price of college. And so, because it's like, if the government knows it, or if the colleges know that they're going to, if they know that they're going to the government's going to give you money, then they might as well just raise the price because the government's going to give you money, and so they'll get paid. And the same thing happens with hospitals and like insurance. They know the insurance will pay like these huge fees, so they raise their prices. That's why medical is so expensive. Same thing with college. They raise their prices to extraordinary amounts because they know that the government will pay it. And unfortunately, that leads to all us little people who end up paying for college. Now, I went to a small school that didn't charge much at all, so I'm debt free. But all these other people, like my sister, who go to these bigger, fancy schools and come out having no money, I don't know what Ted Budd did. Unfortunately, with a lot of these regulations, that what both Democrats and Republicans like to do is they'll like give these laws like fancy names, like saving the puppies. It has nothing to do with puppies or saving them, but maybe there's like puppies mentioned in there. But they also, or maybe it is like saving puppies, but then there's like all this other mess that's thrown in there. And so when somebody votes against it, because it's like, this is obviously you're trying to shoehorn all this other stuff in. So the bill's really about this other thing, but you're calling it the Save the Puppies bill. And then suddenly everybody's like, wow, I can't believe you didn't vote to save puppies. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but in general, when a candidate tells me that this person voted against that, kind of like what they were doing against Cheri Beasley, I'm like, maybe we should see what the case exactly is. So I haven't done that, but I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. So, I mean, it's got all the cliches of a good campaign ad, but I mean, it focuses on an issue, but it's not really one that anybody's in North Carolina is really talking about. Because most people just get jobs. I think more people should get apprenticeships instead of going to college. But it's not something that we really talk about in college. We've got NC State, we got UNC, we got Duke, the big three. So it's like, we got all these colleges. North Carolina is a college state, really. We've got a lot of colleges, and a lot of our cities are based around the colleges, and like several of them are like right around Raleigh. And yeah, I mean, we're more about going to college than I think we are about that. But I do think more people should be more apprenticeship. So I'd give this like a 6.5. Like, it's not bad. It's just has little to do with anything that's really going on in the public discussion in North Carolina. So all right, moving on. So this is where we switch. I think that we have like the best Ted Budd video or campaign ad, and it's coming down the pike. It's at the end, but this'll let's move this over here. Let's do this first. All right, so we'll move over to Ted Budd. Let's listen to his argument for why we should vote for him.
A serial child rapist set free. Where he's going, nobody knows. Because Cheri Beasley struck down a bipartisan law requiring GPS tracking for child predators. A monster who raped a 7-year-old boy in front of his little brother and impregnated a 15-year-old girl. Now, he could be watching you. Who's to blame? Cheri
Okay. Stop it. All right. So that's not a bad ad. It's a good attack ad, I suppose. Um, here's my problem with that. By the time we get a sex offender that's back on the street, like they've served time, it's already too late. Like a guy who rapes a young kid, like that. I mean, that's a perfect situation for the death sentence right there. And so blaming like somebody else for striking down a law like about GPS, like if we're gonna let people out, do we really need to tag them all with GPSs? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really given it much thought. But why are they out to begin with? That's the question I want to know. Why are they not rotting in prison, or why are they still alive? That was one of the cases that I had with the thing with the attack ad that they got removed from against Cheri Beasley because they kind of made it more her fault. But there were some laws that like this guy had like shot this kid in the face. He was like a 17-year-old boy, kid who he shot in the face with a shotgun after agreeing to let him in the car. And I think Cheri Beasley, it was like 20 years later almost, and she voted about something else that affected that case. But I was like, why is that guy still alive? Like, you shoot somebody in the face like that, like that's death penalty in my book. Like this guy should be executed. Like, if you care so little about somebody's life that you're willing to shoot them in the face, unprovoked, like you've lost your rights to live. You certainly lost your rights to live in society. But yeah, I'm just like, why is it even a question? I think that one actually got released because the government found that it was I think it had something to do with like he was apparently falsely accused because of racism or something. But like he's obviously guilty, but they thought that later on, like 20 years later, they decided that the court was wrong in that they allowed racism to impact their decision or something like that. It's crazy. So I had the same problem there. I was like, this has nothing to do with anything. So who's to blame? Whoever has let this guy back, who has removed the laws that no longer lets us punish criminals. That's who's to blame. Sorry, that's the title. It's behind my face. It's who's to blame. That's who's to blame. The person. There we go. The person who has made the laws that let them out of prison for one, but like. It's the people who have gotten rid of the death penalty, because we need to bring the death penalty back. And people now, unfortunately, I do agree. Like our government is like super corrupt right now, so I don't really trust our government to enact the death penalty. But we needed to get back to a place where the death penalty is enacted, because people who care so little about human life deserve to have their own human life removed from the government. You lose a right to life at a certain point when you are putting other people's lives at risk. So it's an okay. I mean, he is attacking Cheri Beasley. I don't really know the context of the specific law. So again, like when politicians try to say like, this person is responsible, I'm like, there's a bunch of people probably responsible. Maybe Cheri Beasley is responsible for this. I don't know that I've really thought through the whole argument about for or against like GPS. Just because some Republicans voted for it doesn't mean that I would vote for it, because I am pretty libertarian in general. But yeah, so it's okay. It's okay. It might be effective. I don't know that I really care for it. Maybe I'll put it that way. I don't really care for the ad. There are better ads. All right, moving on. The tab. That's what this one's
Joe
called.
Biden spent recklessly. Now he wants 87,000 more IRS agents to cover his tab. Cheri Beasley supports both ideas. 87,000 to harass small businesses and working people like her and them.
Oh yeah,
Pain it causes.
got a bunch of IRS agents. That's just great.
I'm running for Senate because Joe Biden and Cheri Beasley want more from you. I want more for you. And that's the difference. I'm Ted Budd and I approve this message.
I hadn't watched that one all the way through. Yeah, it's a interesting difference. They want more from you. I want more for you. That's basically like Republican versus Democrat now. Like Democrats want to tax you to oblivion and give you free stuff that you're paying for in your taxes. And I wouldn't say all Republicans are like that, because they just and this is one thing that I don't like about this ad is like he acts as if the Republicans aren't spending money. Like there's like one guy in the Senate who's like always voting against or maybe it's the House. I don't remember what it is. Rand Paul always votes just about against like spending useless money, and I respect that. I respect that, Rand. Keep staying the outsider, dude. But like everybody else, all the Republicans, like they're always spending money on these useless things or these things that it's like, do we really need to keep spending money? Like, so I get what he's saying on the personal level. Like the Republicans do spend less money, and they do want to give tax breaks, but they still spend an extraordinary amount of money. Like if he had said something like, I'm going to hold both Democrats and Republicans to the fire because they're spending too much money, boom, I'm with you. Stop spending all this stupid money on useless things. Like balance the budget. let's act rational for a change. But so this one, he does talk about sort of the inflation. There's another one that I chose this one over that one because I had more to critique in this one, where he talks about he has like two shopping carts and one's more full and one's less full, and just talking about how like groceries are way more expensive than they were 2 years ago under Trump. I don't know if he actually ever says Trump, but I think he's endorsed by Trump. Could be wrong about that. Yeah, so whatever. Oh, actually, it's right here. Tell two carts. You can see this. I meant to get rid of this one. I don't want to like go over every video, but yeah. So you used to be able to for this much. Although you might notice that these are like got different items in there. At least have the same item, sort of. But I think they were trying to go for like the look. This one looks drabbier than this one looks cool. But yeah, I mean, you used to be able to buy this much with the same amount of money as this. So this is a fair ad. But for the ad we watched, this one, I'd give this. We'll give this a solid 6. It's not a bad ad. It's just that he's like, okay. I'll give it a 7. It's a 7 out of 10. It's okay. It's nothing to write home about. All right, well, moving on. All right, I'm not quite. Yeah, okay. We'll start here. So this is the video that I was like, this is the best reason to vote for Ted Budd right here. Here we go.
It happened. The Supreme Court has taken away a woman's constitutional right to an abortion.
That
And here's where
there
it
is no
gets
constitutional
issue.
right.
No spin, just facts. Budd wants abortion outlawed, with no exceptions for rape or incest. Budd even sponsored legislation that could criminalize abortion for women and put North Carolina doctors in jail.
Good.
Learn more at tedbuddabortionban.com. SMP is responsible.
All right, so First of all, there was no constitutional right for an abortion. That's a lie. So, just the facts. He wants abortion outlawed. Amen. Let's go. No exception for rape and incest. Well, why should the sins of the father be applied to the sins to the child? So what they want to do is they want to let the rapist go. They want them to live, but they want to execute the child. That makes no sense. And I don't know why incest is always brought up. Like, incest is weird. Like, I'm sure it happens, but I realize, like, why is incest a reason to kill a baby? Like, I realize that the child's going to have problems, probably maybe more than just physical, because of incest. But I don't think incest is a justification for murder. Like, so, yeah. Let's see. So he wants to criminalize abortion. I'm all for it. He also wants to put doctors in jail. So I'm of the opinion, because I'm that one of those nice Christian nationalists. Really, I'm just a common sense kind of guy. I think we should, any mother or father who murders their child should go to prison. That's where I'm at. You murder your child, you go to prison. I think this is a good first step. We jail doctors. That'll make abortion go underground, and it'll put a good incentive against baby murder. But there'll still be people who do it, and so that last step to get abortion like completely gone out of the country is to make it illegal completely. So anybody who murders their child must pay the price. So I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. Great ad for Ted Bud. I am all on board for that. All right, so we have a couple responses. Let's do that. I don't know why this is not at the beginning. This is Cheri Beasley. I don't know if I'll watch this whole thing, but all right. So 10 out of 10. Ted Bud, great ad, great campaign ad. Now,
Republicans just announced a nationwide ban on abortion, and my opponent Ted Bud proudly co-sponsored this bill. They're making their plans very clear. If they take back the Senate, they will pass a nationwide ban on abortion. And if Ted Bud is elected, he will lead the charge to pass it.
need we say more? There we go. Cheri Beasley advocates for Ted Bud. Like, there you go. If you've given it, Cheri Beasley gives you a great argument to vote for Ted Bud. Why? Because he wants to get rid of ban abortion. This is really the great civil rights movement of our time. We had slavery back in the day. We got rid of that. Thank God. Now abortion, this other great evil, which I think is probably the greatest evil that America has faced, and we're gonna get rid of it. I know that God will bless that movement, so it's gonna happen. I'm part of the pro-life generation, and yeah. So there you go, Cheri Beasley, talking about voting for Ted Bud, the consequences of voting for Ted Bud. All right, what's this? Oh, so this is more of her talking about abortion. This is put on by the Durham Progressive Democrats. I don't know who they are, but apparently they're saying voting for Cheri Beasley is to both abolish the filibuster and codify Roe. I would love, I say that I don't want them to get rid of the filibuster, but if they somehow succeed in getting rid of the filibuster, thank the Lord they have not, because I think it's really a good thing. If they do, like, they're gonna regret it. Let's just say they're gonna regret getting rid of the filibuster, because it's one of the few things that slows down the process. of change, and it was there intentionally to slow down, because the slower the government works, the better it is for us, because people can come in and change things too quickly. That's why we have a balance in power. We have all these powers that are supposed to be fighting each other for the purpose of things taking a while to get done, because the idea is that it really must be the will of the American people for this to change if it gets changed. And so things like the filibuster do a great job at slowing down the cogs of government from just radical changes. And if they get rid of it, what's going to happen? You've got these guys who you're going to have the Republicans come in. They're going to win the House. They're going to win the Senate. And then they're just going to make changes because they no longer have a filibuster to stop them. And then really that's just going to devolve into chaos, because the country will just radically shift back and forth between whoever's in charge, completely changing everything. So those are my thoughts. Those last two weren't really campaign ads, so I'm not going to rate them. That was just Cheri Beasley talking, and then I was going to play the video, but just for the sake of time, it's already like half an hour. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about all that. And yeah, I think the Ted Budd's the obvious choice there. Cheri Beasley seems like a nice enough person, but yeah, anybody that is pro like murdering children, I can't vote for you. Sorry. We can be friends, but I can't vote for you. I don't want you in making decisions, because you're going to make immoral decisions. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.